Hello friends, welcome to Akul Mac Live and I am Chandrakant, and today we would like to analyze the recent announcement by the Indian Union government about giving relief to the telecom sector. Before we start our discussion, I have to tell you that this video has been sponsored by Performance Works International. More about them you can access through the link given in the description below, and I'll come back to them after some time. So, going forward to the telecom sector discussion, I think we have to discuss this little bit in more detail in terms of history. So, why this crisis has been averted now by this government, by the current Modi government? We have to go back to 1999 when there is something called AGR was introduced, which stands for aggregate gross revenue. And I have actually previously covered the details about AGR. So if you want to know more about AGR, you can refer to that video. But let's continue. What is this AGR? Very briefly. So when the telecom sector was established in India after 5 years, it was really launched in 94, 95, and in 99 it was not going anywhere. And there is a measurement of earning from this sector which is known as earning per user, ARPU. So India having even today the ARPU levels of second lowest in the world after China, China being the lowest earning per user, but they don't care because there is a government which is the telecom is owned by the government. But here there were many telecom players and they were competing with each other, and still after 5 to 6 years of existence, the ARPUs was not coming up and the revenue was not improving. So in order to increase the revenue for the Indian government, the government of that day decided that instead of selling the spectrum, and we know that there has been a major scam in 2G and 3G in the spectrum allocation in terms of auctions. But the government of that day, of that era, decided that instead of charging the telecom operators on the basis of spectrum, let us charge on the basis of earning. And hence the AGR was introduced in India, where the gross revenue, a percentage was supposed to be paid to the government of India for allowing the private sector to function properly. Well, this segment, usually in any commercial enterprise, the users are always a mixed bag. If you look at automobile, some people may be happy with the product, some people may not be happy with the product. It's normally this trend. But in case of telecom, especially in India, the users have been very extremely happy always, whereas the business houses have been suffering because they are not able to make enough revenue out of it, because they're competing with each other, and the earning per user being the lowest. In addition to that, the government imposed that instead of uh, you buying the spectrum from us in terms of auction, because of the 2G scam and different 3G scams, why don't we you pay us from the revenue? Now, because the earning itself was very low, and when a company is earning, their other earnings also will become part of the earnings. So government of India never clarified at that point in time that AGR will not include the income from other earning. They just simply said it's a revenue, gross revenue, a percentage of that you have to pay us. So that is where the problem arose, and there has been a case which is being fought. In fact, Vodafone and Idea has already told that if the AGR has to be paid, then we will have to wind up from India, because we will not be able to pay such heavy tax and penalty on that. So that is really the story of the telecom, and telecom has not been doing very well, even though if you look at the penetration level in India right now, it is almost more than 80%. 80% of the population is covered uh, using mobile phone, and it's a fairly large percentage of the global population. And what will happen if the government continues without any reform at this point in time in 2020? Then Idea and Vodafone will wind up, and as a result, what will happen is that there will be sort of a monopoly in this sector. That means only two or three telecom operators will remain, and then eventually only two will remain, which are probably Airtel or Reliance, and then they may overlook the interest of customers. Many things can happen, and I think any democratic setup should work against the monopolization of any sort of services. So that is really the story, and the story behind the recent development which happened just few days back, like 3 days back. And there was a case where Vodafone and Idea, predominantly the smaller ones, smaller telecom operators, they have approached the court and they said that this is unfair to charge AGR on the overall income, on the gross revenue. And they had also appealed in their respective countries, because especially Vodafone has been owned by the French, and they got the judgment in their favor. So so many things were happening in telecom sector. One, we needed to grow. We needed to provide proper customer support, because if the companies don't have enough earning per user, then the customer service will erode with time. They will not be able to spend or allocate enough funds for providing better technology and better customer support as the time passes. So government had to behave very sensibly and not in an autocratic manner where they just say that, hey, this has been passed 20 years back, we just pay. So that was really the basis of this whole discussion. And before moving forward, I thought I'll just give you the little background about what was going on. So now what has happened now is that, in fact, everybody has welcomed the decision of the government. The government said that you have a moratorium of 4 years because the case is still pending. The government cannot decide on behalf of the court. The legal proceeding will continue. So from their side, from the regulatory body side, they have also said that there will be a moratorium of what money they have to pay, which is the AGR, which is accumulated now in almost like billions of dollars, which government of India needs to get from these companies. Number two is the floor price of various services have been set by the regulator, which is TRAI in India, Telecom Regulator Authority. So this will ensure that the floor price has been kept at certain level, so there will be no undercutting, and there will be a even level field for everyone. So if you are a very large player, which is in the case of Airtel and Jio, and Vodafone and Idea being a smaller players, it should not happen that the large ones basically undercut their price, and no matter what, they just basically undercut the price to remain in business, and that will erode naturally the Vodafone and Idea. So in order to have some sort of balancing act, the government said that all telecom operators have 4 years of moratorium, and they also have there is addition to that, there is enough money available for all of other the players equally at equal level. So now there is a message from one of our viewers. I just want to show that, and the opinion expressed by Mr. Sayyed Hussain is that there is no scam. It is promoted by media. Well, we are not talking about any scam at all. We are just talking about what has happened recently. So Sayyed, thank you so much for your message, and keep writing to us. So moving on, um, in addition to providing the moratorium, there was a issue also in terms of there was a tax on the mobile operators, but the similar tax was not applicable on the broadband and landline. So eventually what happened was, as the technology advanced, the government said that, hey, the technology is advanced and now you can actually offer telephony services using variety of mediums. So while mobile were also providing telephone services, at the same time, the differences between the broadband services and mobile was slowly narrowing, and over a period of time, it appeared that there was hardly any difference between broadband and mobile services in terms of the service that are being offered by both parties. And one party is paying that huge tax, whereas the landline and broadband services are not paying those taxes. So there was a lot of parity in terms of that. So that has been rectified also. Everybody has been treated equally. And in order to increase the uh, future aspects of where the telecom can lead us, it's basically very important for us to grow. A lot of conversation going around 5G, but how telecom will grow and adapt 5G if there is no revenue with them? So there has been a very sensible decision to provide 4 years of moratorium, where there will be more revenue with the telecom operator, so that they can think of bringing new technology, reducing their cost, improving customer satisfaction, and so on and so forth. And most important thing is that they have also now allow 100% FDI, which stands for foreign direct investment. So 100% FDI can come in from foreign investors. It could be foreign telecom companies who can actually invest in India. There is a good opportunity for them to come to this large market. So 100% FDI is also allowed by this government, which is good. So I think going forward after this decision, the telecom operators will be able to compete with each other equally on equal grounds, and the environment will be very competitive. Environment will basically change, and it will be more customer centric. They will have more revenue, and I also suspect that because there will be more services being provided on the similar platform, the earning per user will also increase. So organically, the telecom operators will be able to generate more revenue, and there will be more funds coming in from FDI in the form of foreign direct investments. So therefore, it's a good move. It is going to regulate the telecom industry in a much better way, which has been ailing for almost few years. And the situation because of the pandemic has worsened, because people are now using more and more services from home. So people who can afford to pay more for data will do so, because kids are studying now. A lot of people are working from home. So data has to go up slightly. And if by increasing the price of the data by little bit, in a country like India, the revenue can jump drastically, whereas each consumer will not have to pay a lot of money, extra money. So I think that is where it is, and we have to also grow further. We have to get into 5G, etc. And this decision of government has given more revenue to the telecom sector, so that they can actually think of future. And the case is running in the court, so I think the case will be decided in due course of time. And so there is a moratorium now. They have not taken any decision because matter is sub judice, but they have deferred the date of collecting the tax. Most likely they will win the case also, because this was unfair practice of 20 years back, which has been corrected now. So friends, this is something which happened recently, and this is my analysis. Thank you, viewers, for writing to us during this live show. Continue to indulge with us, and I will meet you next time. Before I go, a message from our sponsor.
This video is sponsored by Performance Works International.
Are you ready for the challenges facing the modern workplace? Recent events have taught us the importance of transformation. businesses now face a perfect storm of challenges. No business is too big to fail, and many are too slow to succeed. Our workforce is changing fast. We're entering a new age of empowerment, and everyone can contribute. The Inner CEO reveals how we can all play a part in making leading at all levels a reality. Written by Jeremy Blaine, an expert on business transformation and growth, it provides a roadmap to help everyone unleash their inner CEO and contribute beyond their job role, whatever their level. Traditionally, strategy has been owned by the few. Now it's time for the many to contribute. Leadership must come from a broader base. Everyone has the potential to step up and make things happen. It's a new model of collective and collaborative leadership which unleashes the power of people, enabled by appropriate technology and a supportive management structure. The book provides a roadmap for a bold new age of empowerment. Supported by a range of resources, the book provides a toolkit to help anyone unleash their inner CEO. Organisation health, development and growth is owned at all levels. Are you ready to unleash the inner CEO?